Have you often asked yourself, when is the best time to get pregnant? When is the best time for us to have sex to get pregnant? Because we've been trying all this time and it's still not working. Well, I get asked that question all the time. I'm Dr. Marc Sklar, the fertility expert, and I'm going to answer that question for you right now. So keep watching. Hi, I'm Dr. Marc Sklar, the fertility expert, and I work with couples from all over the world helping you get pregnant naturally. If you want my help as well, then make sure you hit that bell and subscribe so that I can help you get pregnant. So the ever important question of timing. When is the right time to have sex? Now, I've spoken with couples who have just started trying. They've been together for a short period of time, always just having fun when they wanted to and not when they needed to. And I've spoken to couples who have been trying for years on end. And both times, in all those instances, I have often found that patients just are not timing things right. There's a lot of confusion and misunderstanding around when the right time is to have sex to get pregnant. And so I want to answer some of those questions right now. I want to take some of that guesswork out of it. And look, when we're younger, we're not taught the right information. We're not taught when is the right time to get pregnant. We're taught that if you have sex at any time, you're going to get pregnant, so you need to avoid it like the plague because you're going to get pregnant whenever you have sex. Now, that is just our parents scaring us because they don't want us to have sex. That's not the reality. The reality is that our chances of getting pregnant are relatively low. Our best time in our life to get pregnant is when we're in our early 20s, okay? And at that time, you have at best a 25 to 30% chance of getting pregnant, not an 80, 90, or 100% chance. So our chances are low. And as we age, those chances only go down. So we've got to maximize our opportunities and we have to maximize our time of chances every cycle to give you the best chance possible to get pregnant. But there's still a lot of confusion around this, right? Whether you're new to trying or you've been trying for a while, the first and most important thing that I want all of you to know is that you need to have regular intercourse to achieve the results that you're looking for. It's not about just having sex when you're ovulating. It's about having sex regularly throughout the cycle. Now, obviously, you can't get pregnant when you're not ovulating. So having sex outside of that window is not necessarily going to get you pregnant, but it's going to do one important thing. It's going to keep you guys engaged with each other for the mere fact of being with each other and having sex because it's fun and it's great for a relationship. But really the most important time to have sex to get pregnant is going to be around ovulation. So when are you ovulating? The first thing that we need to recognize is all women do not ovulate at the same time. I mean, in a perfect world, we would. In a perfect world, we would all have a 28-day cycle and we would all be ovulating at day 14. But the reality is that doesn't happen for most of you. Some of you might be ovulating on day 14, maybe some on day 13, maybe some on day 15 or 16. And if you have irregular cycles, when are you ovulating? And what app should I be using or what method of tracking should I be using? Should I be using a BBT? Should I be using OPKs? Should I be using an app? What do I do to track everything? Do I check my symptoms, my libido, my cervical mucus? What's the best way to know when I'm ovulating so that I can make sure that I'm timing things appropriately? Now, that's a lot of questions, right? And it can be overwhelming. But I want to take some of the guesswork out of this for all of you. Okay, so we're going to get into some of the nitty-gritty and some of the details around these questions so that you can maximize your chances at any given cycle. Well, for many of you who've been trying for a while, you've been trying around these times and that hasn't been working. So we've got to look at things a little bit differently and get a better understanding for what's going on. And on top of that, I want to give you the best ways to track your cycle and my favorite way to track your ovulation to take the guesswork out of it and to make it easier for you to not only track ovulation, but hopefully get pregnant. If you want to have me and my team as your personal fertility coaches, then you've got to apply. Check out my Fertility Hope program by using the link below in the description to apply to work with me and my team. So I broke down this video primarily into questions. These were questions that I often get, and I thought it was easier to answer these questions as part of trying to understand the best timing for intercourse. And so that's why I'm doing it this way. The first common question that I get is, are all women ovulating on day 14? Hands down, that answer is no. Each one of you is unique. You're individual. Like I say this all the time, we're all unique individuals and we have our own DNA and patterns and habits, and you have to learn what that is for yourself and stop mirroring your body with somebody else. So if just because somebody else is ovulating on day 14 or 18 or whatever that is, doesn't mean that is when you are. And just because their fertile window is a certain time frame doesn't mean that is what it is for you. You have to figure that out for you, and we have to stop guessing. We have to find out what it is uniquely for you as an individual. Okay, for those of you who have PCOS or might have irregular cycles, meaning they're too short or too long, it's going to be much harder for you to know not only when you're ovulating, but also if you're ovulating twice. Now, the times where I typically see women who ovulate twice in a cycle is much more often with my patients with PCOS. And so that's where really understanding and tracking your cycle, being aware of all the signs and symptoms, and having a little bit of help from the modern world that we live in today with all this technology can be really supportive to really take that guesswork out of it and let you know when you're ovulating and if you're ovulating twice. All right, the other question that I often get is it possible to track your ovulation with irregular cycles? For sure. Now, it's much harder to track your ovulation if you're having irregular cycles. And if you're using traditional methods like the OPK, you're gonna get very frustrated. And if you're doing your basal body temperature chart, it's going to give you a lot of information. It is a tool that I use with my patients, but for my irregular menstrual cycle patients, BBT charting is still challenging because you're going to get frustrated because it's going to go on and on and on, and you're not going to see a shift in your temperatures to notice that ovulation. So yes, you can track ovulation with irregular cycles, but I think you're going to need a little bit more help with that than either using an app or a BBT or an OPK. And I do have one new technology that I really like for my patients with irregular cycles, with PCOS, who need a little bit more support as well to find out when you're ovulating, which I'm going to share with you in just a minute. But I want to get through these questions first. So what hormones are responsible for ovulation? Now, this is easy and straightforward. We've got two main hormones that are primarily responsible for ovulation and do most of the work for us, and what you should be tracking. They're estrogen and LH, or luteinizing hormone. So estrogen is the hormone that is the most prominent and dominant in the first half of the cycle, in the follicular phase of the cycle. And that starts to increase as you get closer to ovulation. The other hormone that really increases at ovulation and is the one that actually triggers ovulation is LH, luteinizing hormone. And so typically when you're doing that ovulation predictor kit at home, that OPK, it's testing for LH. But we want a more comprehensive assessment than that. And I'm really not the biggest fan of OPKs because they don't track your specific needs and your specific hormones. They're meant to trigger to become positive at certain levels. But what happens if your LH doesn't get that high to trigger ovulation? It's going to show you that you're never ovulating. So those simple home cheap OPKs, they're not able to determine if you're ovulating based on your unique hormone levels as an individual. And that can become a problem. It might be fine for a perfectly hormonally balanced woman at 20, but for most women who are trying to conceive in their 30s and 40s, that's going to be a problem, and it's not going to be the most accurate. So we need to find something that is a little bit more helpful than that. All right, so what is the most accurate method for tracking? Well, I do like BBT, and for some patients, OPK is fine, and for some, even a fertility app to manage all of those things and then some is also helpful. But my favorite way to track ovulation right now is this new technology that has come out called Mira, right here. It comes in this beautiful little box. Actually, it came with these two things together. And when you open it up, aside from getting your Get Started Quickly, or the easy to use manual, so to speak, it comes with this wonderful hormone reader. And this is how you can test your hormones at home. This is actually high grade lab quality testing, hormone quality testing at home in the comfort of your home with this little tool called the Mira. And I'm going to show you exactly how to use that right now at home, because my wife gave me a sample of her urine to test because she's getting close to ovulation, and I wanted to use that to check out how this works and to show you how easy this is to track at home for yourself. Before I actually show you how it works, I also want to show you, because I forgot to do that before, is that it comes with these 10 test strips. So in this little box, aside from another little manual, it comes with urine collection cups right here. And it comes with 10 of these test strips. And so you're going to, and I'll show you and demonstrate in just a moment, but you're going to pee into one of these cups first thing in the morning. You're going to use the test strip to dip into the urine, and then you're going to put it in to the little portal right here for the reader. And this reader takes about 10 to 15 minutes to give you your results, but then it automatically syncs to an app that I already downloaded on my phone, and that gives me my results as well. Okay, so we've got everything here. I've got my wife's urine. We've got the tech right here. I've got the testing kit here. This is what's going to actually test the LH and estrogen. It does come with a great little get started card, which is really easy. It gives you all your steps right here, 8 steps on how to test everything. So that is straightforward right there. I've actually already downloaded the app onto my phone, although you all can't see it. And now I'm going to flip over this card so I can follow the instructions there. So I'm going to take the urine, and it says to dip it in for 10 seconds, which is what I'm going to do right there. We're going to let that sit right there for 10 seconds. Great. And then I'm going to take that out, and I've got to switch this. So I'm going to take this blue part off, and I'm going to move it to the other side before I insert it. So I'm going to pause my video right here, and I'll come right back to you. Okay, so I just moved the blue side from this side to this side, and now we can see this is the piece that will actually go into the monitor. So I'm going to turn on the monitor right here. You can see it's turning on. There we go, ready to test. And I'm going to slide that in right here. Okay, so I'm back. The test strip has been testing in my bathroom for the last 15 minutes. And I just checked before I press record right here. I checked the app itself, and it told me that she's not ovulating yet, but she's getting close. So it starts to show a rise, and it gives you all your patterns. I don't have all those patterns in the phone yet because I've just started using it with my wife, but that will come with time as you start to see it and as you start to use it. But some of my favorite things about this product, this app, this technology, the whole system, is that it really takes the guesswork out of it. It's also 99% accurate. That's been shown through some research, and it's clinically proven to be accurate to show you when you're ovulating. So this is awesome, right? Now we're taking the guesswork out of everything. You've got the best of all of these worlds combined into this one app and technology. So you don't have to check your BBT, although if you wanted to, this app still allows you to track that, okay? You don't have to use those OPKs, which often don't work for many of my patients. And this is going to help you track when you're ovulating. It's going to show you as you're rising. It's going to test your estrogen and your LH. And on top of that, for those of you whose LH doesn't surge high enough, this is an AI app. It's artificial intelligence. So it's going to start to understand your body as a unique person and start to track you and be able to tell when you are ovulating, not based on all of these other averages and numbers that all these other women ovulate, but on you and your body, which is probably one of the most important things that we can do and the most value that this brings, and why I really love it, because I'm always talking about working with you as an individual and treating yourself uniquely. And this program, this technology, and this app actually allow you to do that which is amazing to me and makes my work with my patients a lot easier. I don't have to guess, and you don't have to guess. But if you wanted to also track all those other things when you're having intercourse, cervical position, cervical mucus, everything else, the app still allows you to do all of that as well. So one question that I also have gotten from patients that I didn't want to forget to bring up is they wanted to know is, can I use this when I'm using hormones like Clomid or anything else? Or can I use this if I'm breastfeeding? Will it still indicate if I'm ovulating? Basically, if you are ovulating, then this will track it regardless if you're breastfeeding, regardless if you're taking medication like Clomid or anything else. If you want to know if you're ovulating properly, regularly, and more importantly, when you're ovulating, then this will tell you that. And for all of you who have PCOS or irregular menstrual cycles, where it's routinely been difficult to track your cycle and to really know when you're ovulating so you can time intercourse at home properly, this will actually help you immensely take the guesswork out of it and put that back into motion so that you can take control of it. I've actually often told patients who don't have regular cycles that you shouldn't BBT or do an OPK because you're just going to get frustrated. So let's get your cycles back on track and regular first before we actually track. Now I no longer have to do that, and you no longer have to do that. You can just use the mirror at home and track your cycle throughout, and you'll start to know your unique pattern and determine when you're ovulating so that you don't have to wait and you don't have to guess. So when we get back to the question of when should you be having sex to get pregnant, my short answer is that all depends on you. It all depends on you when you're ovulating and how you know when you're ovulating. So if you haven't been tracking properly, if you are a little bit frustrated by your BBT and your OPK and you just don't know when the right time is to have intercourse, then I do suggest that you check out the mirror. If you want the link and all the information to check out this cool product, then all that information is in the description below, including the discount code, which is Fertility TV for $25 off. On top of that, I want to make sure that you guys are not just having sex at ovulation. I want to make sure that you're having it all month long so that your relationship is not just about having a baby, but it's about being together and having time as a couple. So if you liked this video, then I want you to give me a thumbs up. If you found it valuable, let us know. Comment below. And if you've had trouble tracking your cycles, you never knew when you were ovulating and you had irregular cycles, and this process has always been difficult, I want to hear from you. Comment below. Let me know what's been difficult before about tracking your cycles and what you think the mirror can do to help you make it easier. Let us know below. And if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, you should be, so make sure you hit that bell to subscribe. And if you want more videos like this to help you get pregnant, then you can check them out right here. Until the next video, be fertile.